Good evening and thanks for joining us for this special post-game edition of Denver 7 News. I'm Bayan Wang. The best hockey players in the league had some fun today for the 2022 NHL All Star Game. You may have watched that game right here on Denver 7. Let's get right to Denver 7 sports anchor Nick Rothschild. Nick, pretty thrilling. Those were a fun couple games there.
Yeah, if your memory isn't very good, it's like it never happened, right? 2 minutes ago. Anyway, All-Star Weekend in Vegas sounds like a good time to me, right? NHL today, NFL tomorrow, and gotta believe the Las Vegas supply of buffet shrimp is in serious jeopardy. The Avs had a couple first-time All-Stars going at it today, Cale Makar and Nazem Kadri. In his 12th NHL season, Kadri is soaking up his time in the All-Star sun.
Well, that's the best part for me, just being able to share this with, the people I love and respect, and the people that have supported me since day one, man. Those guys have been in my corner always. NHL All Star, that's something no one's going to be able to take away from you.
Well, Nazem wasted no time making an impact in the semifinals for the Central team on the breakaway. Yeah, you've got no chance at stopping that. Jared Bednar, he loves it, I think. Also, technically, that was assisted by Cale Makar, so Avs teammates teaming up in Vegas. Makar had 2 assists in the Central's win over the Atlantic, and in the final, Kadri wheel snipes Selly boys. Cuts into the Metro lead with a goal, but not quite enough Avs magic to lift the Central to victory. It's the Metro Division as your All-Star Game champs. Last night, we had Moby Madness up in Fort Collins. The old Aggie Orange out for CSU Basketball against San Diego State, and the game lived up to the hype. Last 18 seconds, absolute madness. CSU blew a 20-point lead in the second half, but we don't need to talk about that. Lamont Butler for the Aztecs buries a 3, and now the Rams are scrambling back the other way. Ball's loose, ends up with David Roddy. Big fella, doesn't miss. So just a handful of seconds left for San Diego State to fire up a last shot. Matt Bradley gets a look at the rim, but James Moores stuffs him. CSU survives. Moby's going nuts. College kids stay making bad decisions, so they rush the court after a win over a 12-6 team. But who am I to adjudicate joy? Anyway, here's Nico Medved after that chaos.
Great night tonight. In so many ways, the atmosphere was unbelievable. The game was kind of what you would have expected. I think it would have been hard for me to ask a group of guys to play any harder than they played. I thought they just battled. We obviously didn't handle the pressure very well late, but our guys hung on, and what an unbelievable win, what an unbelievable atmosphere, and I'm really proud of the guys.
Just 8 games left in the regular season for the Rams. As of now, Joe Lunardi of ESPN says CSU is in the NCAA tournament as a 10 seed, but still time for the boys in orange to improve on that number.
We'll have to see. All right, Nick, thanks. February is Black History Month, and the Colorado Avalanche are sponsoring the Black History Month Challenge. It's a program organized with the help of Kroenke Sports Charities to help high school students understand what it's like to be Black in America. Students can win up to $10,000 worth of college scholarships after completing the program and submitting a short essay. You can find a link to the program on the Avs page. Just visit NHL.com. A woman is dead and 2 pastors are injured after shooting inside an Aurora church last night. This happened just after 8 p.m. at the Iglesia Faro de Luz Church near the intersection of 6th Avenue and North Airport Boulevard. Denver 7's Colette Bordelon joins us live outside the church now. Colette, police are still searching for the suspect.
Yeah, we know this wasn't a random shooting, though. The suspect had some kind of a relationship with one of the victims. Which victim that was, police didn't tell us. Here's what that scene looked like last night. There were more than a dozen people inside the church when everything happened. The woman who died in the shooting hasn't been identified. We know she was 36 years old. The 2 men shot are pastors in their 40s. They're expected to be okay, according to the Aurora Police Department. There was one other person taken to the hospital last night for medical issues not related to the shooting. Police didn't have specifics on what kind of gun was used or how many shots were fired, but any shell casings found on the scene will be used to try and trace the gun to the person behind it. They'll also be looking into surveillance video around the complex.
We're working to positively identify the suspect. We have information on who they might be, but obviously our investigators need to make sure that we pinpoint exactly who it is before we put any other information out about that.
If you know absolutely anything that could help police find the shooter, they want you to call Crime Stoppers. That phone number, 720-913-7867. You can stay anonymous while reporting any information and could even get a reward of up to $2,000. Live in Aurora, Colette Bordelon, Denver 7.
And we'll certainly be following this, Colette. Thank you. Meantime, mask mandates have expired in 2 more counties in the Denver metro today. Adams and Arapahoe counties no longer require face coverings in many indoor places. This comes after Denver and Broomfield let their mandates expire yesterday. And it's important to note that individual businesses can still require you to wear a mask or ask for proof of vaccination. We spoke to a local health expert who says we need to be careful and not remove too many restrictions too quickly.
Instead of this up and down, like coming up and going down this way, it's going up, and now we're turning the corner and coming down. Instead of this going, it's going to go a little plateau off like this and maybe slowly go down if we take off all the restraints, right? And we don't do the practices that we know works.
And it doesn't just stop there. More mask orders are coming to an end in the metro. Larimer County's mandate ends next weekend, and the mandate in Jefferson County will expire on the 18th. The Children's Museum of Denver is back open as of this morning. It temporarily closed, as you can remember, after conflicts between visitors and staff over the mask policy. Now, even though the mask mandate in Denver is no longer in place, the museum has decided to still require face coverings for everyone ages 3 and older. Our healthcare workers have been working endlessly on the front lines of this pandemic. Many have left their jobs because of burnout, but UC Health is now teaming up with Guild Education to fully fund education for employees who want to pursue or advance a career in healthcare. It's called the Ascend program, and UC Health says it will pay for clinical certifications and even specific learning programs and careers where there's a large need for workers. That includes behavioral health and social work. The program's goal is to teach the next generation of healthcare workers.
A big part of what we do is patient care. And we have a mission to the state of Colorado, which is where the bulk of our work is done, to be able to provide clinically competent care to each of the communities that we serve. The current shortage on healthcare providers kind of across the board makes it really difficult for us to fulfill that mission.
What an initiative. All right, the program launched earlier this week. UC Health says they're investing up to $50 million into the program over the next several years. All right, something old now turned into something brand new for the entire community. See the $1 million improvements made to one Denver Metro skate park.